These two fake HOA cops had their hands on my son when I pulled into the street. One had him by the arm, fingers dug in hard enough to leave marks. The other stood close behind him, blocking his path like a wall. My son's brand new bicycle lay on its side in the road, chain twisted, front wheel still spinning slowly like it didn't understand why it had been dropped. He looked scared. Not crying, not screaming, just confused. The kind of confusion that hits a kid when adults in authority costumes suddenly turn cruel. I hit the brakes so hard my tires chirped. Before I could even open the door, one of them barked. "Stay back, sir."
Hoa enforcem.
"What are you doing to my son?" I asked. The taller one tightened his grip and said, "He's in violation of a community ordinance. He's being detained." Detained? My boy was just 10 years old. Before we dive in, comment which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story travels. To understand why two grown men pretending to be cops thought they could grab my child in the middle of the street, you need the backstory. My name is Mark Hale. I moved into this neighborhood for peace. Treeline streets, quiet evenings, a place where my son could ride a bike without fear. That peace ended when Darlene Whitmore became HOA president. Darlene hated us from day one. She hated that my son laughed too loud. Hated that he played outside instead of sitting indoors like her kid did. Hated that my wife and I didn't kiss HOA rings or show up to her mandatory meetings. But the real breaking point, the bicycle. It was my son's first one. I saved for months to buy it. Blue frame, white grips, a bell he rang every time he made it down the block. Darlene saw it the same day I gave it to him. Her son stood on the sidewalk watching, arms crossed, sulking. The next morning, Darlene knocked on my door with a printed paper and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She claimed there was a new HOA rule. No exclusive recreational equipment, she said. All neighborhood bikes must be registered and redistributed for fairness. I laughed. Then I quoted state law, HOA bylaws, property rights. I told her politely but firmly that my son's bicycle was ours and she had no authority to take it. Her smile disappeared. "You'll regret that," she said. "I thought it was just a threat." I was wrong. 2 days later, while I was away running errands, these two men showed up wearing black vests labeled HOA cop. No badges, no patrol car, no legal authority. They stopped my son while he was riding, told him the bike was being seized under HOA order. When he refused, because he's a kid and it was his bike, they grabbed him and that's how I found them. My son restrained, his bike on the ground, two fake cops standing between him and home. I took one step forward. "Let go of him," I said. The one holding my son replied, "Sir, if you interfere, you'll be detained too." That's when I knew this wasn't about rules. It was about power, and it was only just beginning. I gave them one warning. 1. "Let him go," I said loud enough that the houses around us went quiet. "Right now, you don't have authority. You don't touch my kid." The shorter one laughed like I'd told a joke. The taller one tightened his grip and pulled my son closer to him, turning his body sideways like a shield. "Sir," he said calm and rehearsed. "Step back. Your son is being detained under HOA ordinance." "Detained for what?" I snapped. "Unregistered recreational equipment," the shorter one said, nodding toward the bike. "And refusal to comply." My son looked at me then, his face crumpled. "Dad," he said, voice breaking. "I didn't do anything. I just wanted to ride." That was it. I stepped forward again. The taller one yanked my son back hard enough that his shoes scraped the asphalt. My boy cried out, sharp, scared real, and reached for me with both hands. "Dad, please." Something inside me shut off. I didn't shout. I didn't threaten. I moved. I drove straight into the taller one, shoulder first, slamming into his ribs with everything I had. The air left him in a wheezing grunt as he stumbled sideways, grip breaking. My son fell back a step free. The shorter one rushed me from the side. Bad choice. I turned and caught him with a short, brutal strike to the jaw. Not wild, not sloppy. His head snapped back and he went down on one knee, hands flying to his face, shock written all over him. The taller one tried to recover, swinging clumsily, pain slowing him. I stepped inside his reach and hit him again, harder this time, right across the side of his face. Bone cracked. He went down flat, sprawling on the pavement. Neighbors were shouting now. Someone screamed to call 911. And someone else yelled, "That's a kid." My son was crying openly, backing away toward the curb, eyes locked on me. "Get behind me," I told him without looking. He did. The shorter one staggered to his feet, blood on his lips, rage in his eyes. He lunged again, desperate. I ended it. One clean strike to the ribs. He folded instantly, dropping to the ground and staying there, gasping like a fish on concrete. Silence hit fast. Both of them were down. Both of them alive. Both of them very aware they'd made the worst mistake of their lives. I stood between them and my son, chest heaving, hands shaking. Not from fear, but from the effort of stopping myself from doing more. Sirens wailed in the distance. Closer. Fast. I knelt beside my boy and pulled him into me. I've got you, I said. I've got you. He buried his face in my shirt, sobbing, fingers gripping me like he was afraid I'd disappear. The two fake HOA cops stayed on the ground. They didn't try to get up. They didn't say another word because by the time the first patrol car screeched into view at the end of the street, everyone there knew exactly who the criminals were, and it wasn't the kid with the bike. If you're enjoying this HOA story so far, like and subscribe because the story is only going to get better. The first cruiser slid to a stop so fast the tires screamed. Doors flew open. Hands where we can see them. An officer shouted, then stopped mid-step when he saw the scene. Two grown men in black vests labeled HOA cops sprawled on the pavement. One curled on his side, wheezing, unable to draw full breath. The other was on his knees, blood pouring from his mouth, jaw hanging wrong, broken so badly he couldn't even form words, and a 10-year-old boy clinging to his father beside a twisted bicycle. The tone changed instantly. The officers didn't rush me. They rushed them. Medic, we need EMS now. One officer barked into his radio while kneeling beside the man with the shattered ribs. He tried to speak, but all that came out was a wet gasp. Every breath looked like agony. The other tried to say something, maybe an excuse, maybe a lie, but it came out as a broken, slurred mess. Blood bubbled at the corner of his mouth. He spit teeth onto the asphalt. Paramedics arrived within minutes. They cut vests, checked pupils, stabilized necks, loaded both men onto stretchers. One of the medics looked at the officer and said quietly, "He's got multiple fractured ribs, possible punctured lung. We're going straight to trauma." The jaw injury wasn't much better. Mandible fracture, another medic said. Severe. He's not talking for a while. They were rushed away under police escort. Then an officer knelt in front of my son. "Hey buddy," he said gently. "Can you tell me your name?" My son nodded. His hands were still shaking. Another officer turned to me. "Sir," he said calm but firm. "I need your statement." I gave it. Every word, every warning, every grab, every punch they threw first. Neighbors lined up without being asked. One after another. He told them to let the kid go. They dragged and they threatened him. They were pretending to be cops. Phones were handed over. Videos queued up. Clear footage from 3 angles showed the bike seizure, the restraint, my son crying, the first shove. There was no confusion. Then Darlene Whitmore arrived late, breathless, already angry. She stormed past the tape yelling, "This is outrageous." They were enforcing HOA policy. An officer stopped her cold. "Ma'am," he said, "you're going to stand right there." She pointed at me. He assaulted my officers. Another officer turned his tablet around and played the video. Darlene went silent. She tried again anyway. "I didn't tell them to hurt anyone. I just said the bike violated." "That's enough." The officer said, "You'll have a chance to explain that downtown." He didn't raise his voice. He simply reached for the cuffs. "Darlene Whitmore," he said. "You're being detained pending investigation for a conspiracy, unlawful detention of a minor, and impersonation of law enforcement." Her mouth fell open. "You can't. This is HOA business." The cuffs clicked anyway. That sound shut her up. She was led to the patrol car, still insisting it was all a misunderstanding, still pointing at me, still trying to reclaim authority that had evaporated the moment the videos rolled. My son never looked at her. Neither did I. 3 days later, the truth came out in a hospital room. One of the fake HOA cops, the one with the broken ribs, was facing surgery and serious prison time. His lawyer pushed for a deal. He took it. He gave them everything. Texts from Darlene, emails, voice notes, instructions to seize the bike, orders to detain the kid if necessary, payment records marked HOA enforcement. The other one couldn't talk yet. His jaw was wired shut, but the evidence didn't need him. The medical report didn't help their case. Multiple fractured ribs, collapsed lung, 6 days in ICU, 3 weeks hospitalized before transfer to county custody. The jaw injury, compound mandible fracture, surgery required, liquid diet for months, both survived. Neither walked out free. The charges stuck. Both fake HOA cops pleaded guilty to kidnapping, unlawful detention of a minor, impersonating law enforcement, assault, conspiracy. They got 8 years in state prison. No early release. Darlene Whitmore fought harder. She denied everything. Blamed them. Blamed me. Blamed the mob mentality of neighbors. The judge didn't buy it. She was convicted of conspiracy to commit kidnapping, child endangerment, fraud, abuse of HOA authority. She got 12 years in prison, heavy fines, permanent removal from the HOA, civil judgment covering my son's medical care and damages. The HOA dissolved 6 months later. My son still rides his bike. Same blue frame, same bell. And every time I hear it ring down the block, I remember one thing. Power only works until someone stands in front of their child and says no. What do you think, folks? Did I do the right thing, or did I do what any parent would have done? What would you have done? I'd love to know. The end.